Let's talk about social media and content. Now, while there is a relationship between the two, they are not exactly the same thing. One is an art and one is a science. I was watching this talk by Stephen King the other day, and he said that he writes stories, he doesn't write books. And that is the basic premise of what the difference between social media and content is. Content is the story. Social media is the book. Put another way, content is the story and social media is the vehicle for which that story is delivered to a particular target market. Now, that sets the stage for content to be a creative process. Coming up with stories, coming up with ideas, recording music, doing videos like this, for example, is more of a creative pursuit that is built on the pillars of correctness, which comes from research and understanding what exactly the person you're speaking to needs to learn about or be enlightened about. Social media, defined for this conversation, is the management of a social media platform. So Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, whichever one you choose to focus on, each one has its own nuance and its own style of delivering content to the people that are paying attention on it. There are ads on each, there are content formats on each, whether that be written articles or photos or videos or podcasts, whatever it is. And managing the nuances and the best practices of each one is where a social media manager comes in. Coming up with the content and figuring out what type of content and what message will resonate with the person viewing this content is the role of a content manager. And there's a difference between the two, as we could already start to see, because one relays to the other. And this is not a linear process to say you have to do content first and then figure out social media, because creativity and developing ideas is never linear. It's always this agile process of, okay, we did something, we adapted this, we changed this, we updated this, it's fine. But the point is that there has to be two separate skill sets that are employed to create good content and deliver it on social media. And understanding that difference kind of puts you in this position where you know that ideally two separate teams should be doing the two separate things. But in reality, that is very rare. Like, most companies will just hire one person and say, look, you are responsible for content and social media. And that honestly is pretty exhausting, because coming up with ideas and figuring out what time to post it, where to post it, what are the correct demographics of the people, what is the correct targeting strategy? Should we use Google Display or Google Search? Should we use LinkedIn? Should we focus on Facebook ads? Should we use Facebook Blueprint? Should we try to understand, okay, that certain people are at home at a certain time, so they might want certain types of content delivered to them? We understand that some people are business persons, some people are employees, so they might need different types of business. You get the drift. It's a lot. It's a lot of different factors that need to be considered in order to correctly deliver content. Now, at the same time, content is something that should be fun. Like, you shouldn't really have to, drop yourself into this box to panic about creating content. And the best way to come up with ideas that resonate is simply to ask your audience what it is they want to see. What is it that they have problems with? What is it that they are frustrated about? And those three things will put you in a position to make content that makes sense. So what is the goal here? Well, the goal here really is to illuminate the fact that there is a difference between social media and content, yes. But if it is you have to spend money on advertising something, then you need to understand how best to invest in this thing. And spending money on a social media campaign without good content makes very little sense. Because if it is the social media campaign works and people want more information, the question comes up, okay, what do they do next? Be prepared for a spike and a drop, because spending money on an ad will put that particular ad out there. It will isolate that ad and push that bit of content out to who you want to see it. They will see that. They may not come to your page or your profile and follow or become part of your audience permanently. So spending money on an ad and an ad budget and social media campaign is very, very focused on getting this one isolated bit of information in front of the people that you need it to be in front of. If it is that you want to build a following, this is a much longer game. This is a marathon. This is something that requires you to post content Not every day, but consistently. If it is you decide you want to post once a week, great. If it is you want to post once a month, great. But the goal here is to create expectation as to what comes next. If you post something every week on a Friday at 2 p.m., next week at Friday at 2 p.m., what do you post? And over time, this builds an expectation in your audience that, look, Dominic is going to post something on Friday at 2 p.m., so I should look out for it. And that is the power and the potential of social media, in that it builds habits. It builds expectations around those habits, and it builds a repeatable pattern that you can then observe and know that, okay, I have the most inertia and momentum at this particular point in time, so let me put a message out there at this time that will resonate with who I want it to resonate with.